and I'm gonna give you guys time to come into the conversation. I'm not gonna talk that long because if you guys have been following any of the stuff I do online, you might know that I've been a little bit sick, a little bit under the weather, and so I actually did a challenge video yesterday. I said to everybody watching, I said, I looked up the symptoms for COVID because I had a lot of pain in my upper neck and back, and my head was killing me, and I had a lot of chills and stuff like that. And I said, now here's the deal I'm gonna make with you. I said, if I die, you have the right to play this video at my funeral, and you can make fun of me for being a person who thought that we overreacted to some of this. Like, you can get mad at me. You can say, look, see, look at this dummy. He's up here. He's not scared like the rest of us. And then now look at him. Now he dead. Because I got tired, honestly, of people telling me that I'm gonna go outside. That if I go outside, I'm going to die. I don't enjoy conversations like that. I mean, if you're sitting in your house afraid to die, then just stay in your house forever. That's my 2 cents. But then I said, if I live, you got to promise me that you'll calm down. To calm down and relax. You're not gonna die. Most of you are not gonna die. People are gonna die every day. Death is a part of life. And I don't believe in living your life in fear. I don't think, especially you men out here. I mean, come on, man, you're a man. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen to you. I don't know. I don't feel like that's consistent with my manhood for me to stay in the house and be afraid of something that has a 1 in 5,000 chance of taking me out. I'm just not going to do that. So lo and behold, I have survived, and I am fine, and I am doing much better, and I'm feeling quite well today. Not 100% though, not 100%. And I'm getting ready for today's the last day to get ready for my investing masterclass, which starts tomorrow. So if you want to actually be a part of the investing masterclass, feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. It's really, really good. It's very popular. People love it. And in case you don't like it, there's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. All right, so here's what I wanted to lay out here for you guys. I was thinking about this, and as I was laying in bed, kind of watching Netflix and old basketball games and stuff like that, and thinking about some of the stuff that I'd like to sort of throw my 2 cents on. I thought about this Michael Jordan documentary, and I remember, they did this part in the documentary where they showed this really popular ad that Jordan had called, or it was by Gatorade, and they played this song, sometimes I dream that he is me, like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Anybody remember that? You remember that ad? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you remember that ad. And it's a really good ad, right? It's very popular. It was very successful. The song was really cool and catchy, and it just sticks with you, right? And I think it was a great move by Gatorade to do that ad. But here's what I wanted to kind of throw at you a little bit. I think that there is a curse. There's a sports curse on the black community. I think that this whole idea of trying to be like Mike, different people are going to process that in different ways, right? Being like Mike, if I'm a white kid with a trust fund who's only going to be 5'3" and knows this, that's not going to mean the same thing to me if I'm a kid in the hood who's got some talent, right? Who can play basketball really well but can't read, and really, really believes that playing sports at the college or professional level is his only opportunity to be successful. And I want to try to put a couple things in context, for you, as we sort of look at, the effects that things like media and advertising have on our children. So you watch this commercial, like Mike. If I could be like Mike, right? So all the kids in the hood, every basketball player in America is thinking, I want to be like Mike. Right? A lot of guys that love sports like I did, I was really big into sports, are thinking if I work as hard as Michael Jordan, I can be the next Michael Jordan. If I put the time in the gym like Jordan, I can become, as great as Mike. And I knew guys like that. I knew a lot of guys. How many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you knew a lot of young black males who really truly believed that they were going to have a shot at playing professional sports? How many of you? I just had a great conversation with an old friend of mine, and he mentioned to me that I hadn't talked to him in 30 years, honestly. And he said, and I said, so how did your football career turn out? He said, man, I wanted to go to the NFL so bad. And he told me, and he said he actually played in the NFL. I said, you made it? I said, you made it to the Seahawks? He said, yeah. He said, I said, how long did you play? He said, about 6 weeks. And so he played in the NFL, but it wasn't long enough to make any kind of career out of that, right? And I know a lot of guys like that, right? I know a lot of guys who almost made it, right? Or who thought that, if they work hard enough, they can get there, whatever. And so what I just really want to kind of propose to you is that we need to sort of contextualize how these ads affect the thinking of our most precious soldiers. How these ads affect the thinking of our young black men who are supposed to lead the community in the future. How these ads affect or distract them from the sole purpose of providing and protecting for the black community in the next generation. Because what's unfortunate is that there are 1,001 sad stories about guys who were extraordinary athletes. Maybe they were all city or all state, and they couldn't do anything else. They had no other skill. They never learned how to take care of a family. They never learned how to actually make any money. They never learned any of the things that you need in order to be a successful human being, but they dedicated everything to sports. Now, here's the deal. Even if you look at Michael Jordan, a lot of people don't talk about this, but if you look at Michael Jordan and you look at his life, Michael Jordan wasn't just a great player. Michael Jordan was as focused as they come. I mean, the man, there's so many examples of greatness and leadership that you can find in terms of how he just carried himself as an athlete. He was very dedicated, very focused. But here's the deal. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen both, they weren't just skilled and determined and talented. These guys were very, 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 very lucky. Why were they lucky? Well, if you look into the history of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, what you'll see is that Scottie Pippen wasn't even playing college basketball. He went to Central Arkansas University and was the team manager. It wasn't even on the team. He was the manager of the team at Central Arkansas University. He wasn't playing at Duke. He wasn't a McDonald's All-American. He wasn't playing at UNC Chapel Hill. He wasn't playing for NCAA championship. He was the water boy at Central Arkansas University. So what made the difference? How did Scottie Pippen go from being the water boy at Central Arkansas University to being the number 2 man on arguably the greatest basketball franchise in recent NBA history? Well, in his freshman or sophomore year, I believe, Scottie Pippen had this massive, massive growth spurt. He grew from 6 foot tall, I believe, or 6'1", all the way up to 6'7". So he basically just stretched. He stretched. David Robinson, another NBA great, he had a growth spurt. He wasn't going to become much of a player until he just suddenly grew. Look at Michael Jordan's history. Michael Jordan, he wasn't the best basketball player even in his own household. His brother Larry used to kick his ass. His brother Larry was a better player than him. Michael will confess to that. But guess what? Over one summer, Michael stretched. He got that growth spurt that grew him to be 6'6". At that point, Larry could not beat him anymore. So the reason I lay this out here is because I think it's very important, and maybe you'll have conversations with families or young brothers about this. They have to understand that part of being an NBA athlete in general a lot of it comes down to luck. Guess what percentage of the population grows to be above 6'3"? Take a guess. 1%. 1% of the population grows to be taller than 6'3" among men. Like when I would go play on the basketball court, and there was a guy on the court that was like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", that guy would play the center. That was the big man on the court. That was the big giant dude that everybody was worried about because he was 6'4", 6'5". It wasn't that common that you had guys that big out on the court. So the odds of even growing taller than 6'3" are 1 in 100. So in order for your child, go look. You don't believe me? Go Google and search for what a distribution, height distribution among American males. Look that up, and you'll see that in America, you have a 1% chance of being above 6'3". Some of y'all are lucky. You have families where everybody grows tall. Jordan didn't have that. Pippen didn't have that. They got lucky. They grew taller than their relatives. If Michael Jordan had not grown to be 6'6" and had been his brother Larry's height, you never would have heard his name. You never would have heard of him. So here's what I'm going to throw out there at you. I say rather than letting our boys grow up trying to be like Mike, I would prefer that they grow up wanting to be like Marcus Garvey. Because there's no height requirement to be the next Marcus Garvey. You don't have to dunk a basketball to be the next Marcus Garvey. And a Marcus Garvey has a greater impact on the black community. One Marcus Garvey has a greater impact on black people than 1,000 Michael Jordans. Michael Jordan was a guy that got on TV because white people loved him. He made a ton of money for him and his family, but he did not move the needle in terms of where the black community stands. The black community, he cannot say the black community is better off now than it was when I started playing, right? He was entertainment. He was a spectacle. He was great to watch. He was like a circus. It was cool to watch the circus. I enjoyed watching it too. Like, it was good entertainment. But entertainment's not the same as substance. Entertainment's not the same as action. Entertainment's not the same as actual progress in your community. So I would say that sure, maybe if you have a son that's in that 1% where he's going to go to the NBA or whatever, maybe if that's what he wants to do, then fine, encourage him. We got a kid in this house. He's not my biological son; he's my stepson. But I mean, my God, he grows an inch every week. He's 6'5" already, and everywhere he goes, everybody asks him, "Who does he play for?" And basically, I tell him you don't fucking play for anybody. Tell him that you want to be an engineer. Shit, like, why the fuck do we think that every time a black man's tall, he must be ready to play basketball? Or, man, all that height, you wasting all that height. His coach did that shit. His coach comes up talking about, well, he could be much better. He's really wasting all that height. I'm like, no, he's not wasting anything. That's his height. He's doing what he wants to do with it. Leave him alone. It's cool. Whatever he wants to do is what he wants to do, and that's it. I raised two tall ones. I raised, also my goddaughter was tall like that too. And from the time she was 4, everybody was asking her what basketball team she played for, and she rejected it. She refused to pick up a basketball. She became the number 1 high jumper in the country, and she also was a damn good volleyball player. And I said, let's get you a scholarship off of the sports plus your good grades. And that'll get you an Ivy League education, and then you can go on and be successful at other stuff. But you're not going to get that pressure to be a great athlete from me. I want you to be a great person. If there's anything sports has ever given me in my life, it is the sports teaches me discipline and determination that I can use to become great at the things that actually matter. Sports gives you preparation for the things that actually matter, and a basketball game does not fucking matter. A football game does not matter. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. It's a feel-good moment, but it doesn't matter. Your life is what matters. How you raise those damn kids, that's what matters. Are you going to be successful, or are you going to fail? That's what matters. Do you keep going, or do you give up? That's what matters. So sports is nothing more than a children's version of preparation for the real game, and the real game is the game of life. That's the real game. So when I think about what it means to be like Mike, first of all, I don't give a shit about being like Mike. I think being like Mike is cool in the sense that there are things you can learn from the entertainment of watching a Michael Jordan that can help you succeed in a lot of things that you do in life, for sure. I watched Jordan. I'm like, man, that guy was so focused. I just love it. I think it's great. I did a whole video breaking down all the things about Michael Jordan that I learned from reading his book that you may want to pay attention to, because that's the difference between the winners and the losers. You got a lot of fucking losers around you who are never going to win at anything because they don't even know basic things like not giving up. Seriously, you got too many weak-ass people out here that give up too easily. Things get hard. They complain, oh, it's white supremacy. Oh, it's too hard. I didn't have no money. How am I supposed to invest when I don't got no capital? I can't do that. I'm just a lowly nigga. People like that will never succeed. I don't remember the name of the book. I'm sorry. I don't remember. It was written probably about 1993, 94. I don't get with that, right? So I honor and respect what Michael Jordan did as an athlete. I really do. I think it was remarkable. I think it was extraordinary, but it's one of those things where I draw a clear boundary. I do not honor a Michael Jordan more than I honor a Marcus Garvey. And if the skills of a Michael Jordan have any benefit to me, it is in the fact that they can help us create Marcus Garveys in our community. Because that level of focus, that level of intensity, that level of commitment to your goals and to your dreams and to all the things that you want to be, the things you want to accomplish in your life, that will make you a champion at every single thing you do. That will make you a winner in life. Seriously. Like, so that's this whole thing, dream about being 6'6" and dunking basketballs, that ain't gonna happen for most of y'all. And the last thing I'll throw in here real quick before I go, I'm actually getting a little bit tired, so I'm gonna go get some more rest. Is do me a favor, by the way, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. And also don't forget, my investing masterclass starts tomorrow. So if you want to learn more about investing, it starts tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So you can go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. All right, so the last piece I'll throw in here is this. I did research and I found that the average black family spends about $536 a year on sports camps, sports equipment, sports registration, things like that. I'm not here to tell you to stop doing that, right? As I told you, sports gives you a lot of great lessons that can help you become successful all throughout life. There's nothing like sports. I mean, in fact, I feel sorry for kids that never played sports, because sports teaches you a type of toughness that you don't learn just, when you're spoiled and you're not forced to really overcome anything. Sports teaches you how to work consistently. It teaches you how to focus. It teaches you how to, keep trying harder. It teaches you how to work together with other people. It teaches you a lot of great lessons that you can apply all throughout your life. So I'm not here to tell you to not do that anymore. But what I am trying to say, what I do want to throw at you though, is this fact. Sports is not an investment in a significant and meaningful way. Sports investments or sports spending is not a good investment for your child. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the things that challenge black people in their 20s and their 30s right now, like some of y'all might be in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. Shout yourself out if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s. The things that challenge a lot of our folks right now are mainly related to economic freedom. Do you feel as free as you want to be? Do you feel as financially secure as you want to be? Do you feel like you can provide for your family the way you want to, right? Well, to me then, if you're preparing your children for the big game of life, then it would seem to me that you would make the investments early so they're prepared to play that game at the highest levels and to win the championship, right? So what I would suggest is this, very basic idea, something you can implement tomorrow. Given that the average family spends $536.92 per year on sports, make sure that you invest at least that much money per year for your children in the stock market. If a parent did that same amount, $536.92, that's a little bit less than the $5 a day plan. The $5 a day plan, if you go to firstshareofstock.com, I'll give you guys access to the $5 a day book. So it's firstshareofstock.com. But it's less than the $5 a day plan, which almost anybody can afford. Anybody who can afford a Popeye's chicken sandwich can afford to invest $5 a day for the future of their kids. But even at $536.92, if you did that for your child for say 25 years, then by the time they're 30, they would have about almost $50,000 in liquid assets. Now, you think about this, right? So imagine you're 30 years old and a corona situation hits, or you lose that job, or you cuss your boss out, and you're trying to figure out what your next move is going to be. Imagine making that move when you're living paycheck to paycheck versus making that move when you've got $50,000 in liquid assets that you can access to help you out financially, right? And if you stretch it out to say the age of 35, then you're talking about $75,000, $80,000 liquid, right? So really what you find is that the freedom and security that we all desire really comes down to the ability to do a few things. One, have the skills to develop multiple streams of income. Two, to have assets that are well funded, that can provide a financial padding for you in case things go bad. Meaning, if you own a house and you're putting money into your equity every month instead of paying rent, then that's going to be money you can lean on in case times get tough. Even a 401k can be part of your financial security. Your savings account can be part of your financial security. Your stock portfolio is part of your financial security. So I would almost say that if I'm a parent and I want my child to just be a winner in life, I give them the thrill and the fun of playing sports. I mean, sports is really fun. I played a lot of sports as a kid. I love sports. But really, sports is something that should be preparing you for the bigger game. And so that's the big game I found as a black man. The biggest game I found is the protection of my manhood in a world that constantly wants to emasculate me and break me down. Right? That's the game, that's the war that I feel like I was born into. And I really think education and economic strength helps you to fight that war, as well as discipline and good decision making. That's just my 2 cents. I hope that this helps some of you. And Veronica says, I can't keep up with all your websites. Yeah, a lot of times I'll buy URLs just to sort of talk about one particular thing. So if you want to go to the Black Business School, you can go to theblackbusinessschool.com. Feel free to go there as well. That's one website you may want to write down, theblackbusinessschool.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and thank you for listening. And I'm sorry if I sound like I'm a little bit out of it. It's because I am. I'm actually feeling myself like sweating a little bit, so I think I'm gonna go lay down instead of pushing myself. So take care, guys. Love you, and please hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. And I enjoy talking to you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Peace.